Move to item 10. Oh, it's carried. Item 10, transport report. Welcome, Lynette. Is Lynette online?
She was going to come here.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
She is.
Oh, she walked into the room. Welcome, Lynette. Yes. Is there any questions on the transport report? Did you want to do a brief overview? Or you're happy to go to questions?
I was just going to highlight a couple of quick points actually that were additional to the report, and I brought, seeing as there's a bit about maintenance in the back of this, I've brought Steve Guy along with me, our new maintenance manager. My main highlight was we've talked in the report about Lincoln Road Stage 1, and we were talking when we wrote this report about looking to appoint a contractor. That contractor has now been appointed. Isaac's Construction have won that work, and they are looking to start early May if they can. Fingers crossed, weather holds for us a bit and lets us get going. Stage 2 of, just for information, Stage 2 of Lincoln Road has been through its hearings process, so is expected to report, the hearings panels are expected to report June, I think it is. The only other highlight I had on the report for your information, it's just to bring to everyone's attention, there's a flow chart in the report that's very small and very difficult to read, so we have added it as a separate attachment so you can read it. And that's about it for me, really.
Thank you. Yanni. No, you're on mute, Yanni.
Thanks. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, sorry, I just had three questions. We were going to get some information back on the capacity of off-street car parking buildings. Do we have an expected time frame for that?
Capacity of off-street car parking buildings.
Sorry, the occupancy of the capacity. Sorry, the occupancy, not capacity.
Isn't that in the report?
It came up during the annual plan debate, the draft annual plan, and there'd been it's also come up during finance and performance, and I think transport committee as well. But there was a request to get the historic data of the occupancy of our off-street car parking buildings, just to get a sense of, how they're being utilised. So I just was wondering.
So that is underway. It is actually quite a substantial piece of work, and staff are working on it, and it will be back in time to inform the annual plan as it was requested through the annual plan.
Right. Okay.
Thanks, Yanni, that's been answered.
Okay. The Cranford Street bus trial. Have we got any update on that?
I haven't got an update for you today, but I can provide it in maybe the next report.
Right. When is it due? Sorry, just can you just refresh my mind? When is it due to come back to council? Is it a 1-year evaluation from
it's going back
a few months ago?
It's being dealt with through the community board, is my understanding, but I haven't got the dates on me. I'm sorry.
Through the Papanui Innis Community Board.
Yes.
Yeah. The community board are having briefings. They're very aware of the bus lane. Yeah. Your next question?
Oh yeah. Okay. And the final question from me was, I've just put it's a comment question. I've just put forward a recommendation just to see if we could get some staff advice on the future streets, the Aranui Future Streets report and community insight report, whether we could just get some advice back around how to progress the next steps.
So the next steps for that, and this has been reported back to the community board, and the next steps for that report is for the community board to highlight what priorities they want to work on and how we move that forward. It needs to come through the community board.
Has that gone to both community boards?
Yes, my understanding is it has.
Right. Are you able just to send us the briefing? Sorry, I haven't been able to find it or see it. But
I suggest you go back to your community board governance team. They will have it all.
Right. Okay.
Yanni, this needs the community board to lead it and make it a priority project. And if it expands to community boards, which actually next term it probably won't, it'll be one community
It'd be
board.
one community board.
Then it's a really good opportunity for the new Linwood Bird Coastal to actually lead this project and put it up as a priority one to the council. So, but
Yeah, I think what you'll find, Mike, is that unfortunately, because of the resourcing issue and capacity issues, like we've got things that we've already made a priority that we're struggling to get progress on, like the Bromley roads. So, I was just interested at a high level what we could do, because it would be good to have a process underway.
Sorry,
around
you're not listening. It needs to come through the community board, and you will be on that community board. So we will expect to see it coming through there as a priority. Jimmy, did you have a question?
Oh, yes, I have one question on page 52. Then I ask you regarding this flow chart of the remove the tree. I just want to know when, for the infrastructure, when remove the tree, absolutely you will present it to the community board, etc. approve. But whether we have any the principle of a policy, at the same time, those the landscaping, the plan, including the tree species, also to be available, presented to the community board as well.
Is that for the replacement trees? Councillor?
Yes, because you remove, they need to replacement. Yes. Absolutely. For the infrastructure
So
one, yes.
the request can come through to remove. They will have to come back, and if they cannot, if the staff cannot replace it, if they don't have the replacement design done, it won't be at the same report, but they will have to come back and advise the board of where the replacements are being made, and that's what they are doing. The policy is in place to replace, for every tree that is taken down, is to replace with at least 2. They can't, unfortunately, they can't always go back in the same place, because if there's services there, we can't necessarily plant trees above them.
Okay. Yeah, but community and residents, affected residents, particularly concern the time frame, because when your infrastructure has been undertaken and finished, and they look forward to the new replanting tree will be available.
And the new
rather than just take a long time.
Jimmy, let him answer.
And the new replanted trees will be planted in the planting season, so they will be advised when they're planted, but they will always be planted in the planting season, which may not be at the same time as the infrastructure build's done. But Councillor, for your information, this little article here is about how the community and the new process that we've set up for how the community can raise their concerns about trees that are affecting them personally.
Okay, thank you.
Before I go to Aaron, just a couple of questions from me. In regards to, I just want to get some clarification, really. With the bus lane, my assumption, though, it's obviously going through the community board, is they will make a recommendation to council for council to be the final decision maker on the outcome of it. Yeah, thank you. The other one around the tree policy and allowing community boards to make decisions. Are we finding that they're making is there any decisions that have been made, I guess, outside of the tree policy guidelines in terms of removing trees?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So okay. Are we going to do a review of that just to make sure that we're not chopping down trees that sort of go against an arborist's professional opinion on whether a tree should be chopped down?
Yes, and that's why this process is highlighted. Sorry, having one of those mornings. That's why this process is highlighted, and we've raised it with you, so that you can understand what evidence needs to be supplied in order to make that decision. Because it may be contrary to arborist's advice, but there may be other reasons, medical condition, whatever.
Okay, but if the recommendation from staff
Yep.
was actually there was no reason to remove the tree. Basically, it was outside of policy to remove it. Would that therefore have to come to council for a decision, or could community boards go
No, I believe
outside of policy to remove a, tree?
community boards have delegation over trees.
even if they went outside of policy, they could just remove any healthy tree that didn't actually fit the criteria?
No, it would need a resource consent, needs a consent. Boards have to get a consent is what I believe.
Thanks,
I
Paul.
will have to get you some more advice on that. I'll tell you what, we might wrap up that advice into another little article next month.
Okay, thank you. Aaron, you've got a question or two?
Sorry, wrong button. Or even a briefing on that, Mike, probably wouldn't hurt, or as a subject for a briefing, just to walk us all through where trees are at and what have been the consequences of that. So my question, Lynette, is just an update. I believe you know the area well, of Gardeners Road for the shared path. Where's that at the moment?
Gardeners Road is still there.
Yeah, no, the road isn't.
Sorry, I was being flippant. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's actually been a little bit more of the path finished because the development's been ongoing down there. So the section down between Claridge's Road up to sort of the pumpkin patch paddock has been, which everyone knows is
Mostly
a pumpkin
done.
patch, but it's mostly done. The rest of it, my understanding is design is underway and progressing. So that's all I can tell you. I if you like, I'll add it as an update for the next report.
Yeah, it'll be good to be able to update the public on when some work's happened down the other end, and we'll be moving. So thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Anne.
Kia ora. Hi, Lynette. I'm really interested in the Park Smart program and learning a bit more about that. I think it's the first time I've heard about this. Yes.
I'm going to have to come back to you on that one because I thought someone had asked me that question and I couldn't find the answer before I got here. Sorry. It looks great. And I'm really keen to make sure we can do what we can, working with our communities to ensure we can reduce the chaos and the tension at school gates. It'll be great. So I'll come back to you with a bit more update.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And this might be another question you can't answer, but I'm wondering if you can give any update at all. We seem to have a bit of conflicting information about the Milnes Road, Sparks Road intersection. And I'm just wondering, you don't have to give it now, but I'd be keen to know exactly where we're at with that, what's happening.
Milnes and Sparks.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will come back on that one.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Thank you. One last question for me around footpaths. And I'm just trying to work out, I guess, the proactive approach we take to footpaths when we look to do reactive maintenance. So therefore, actually, do we walk up and down a street and say, actually, we need to be proactively doing the whole street instead of a couple of patch jobs?
Yes, we do. So I can answer that one. We get our contractors to drive the network regularly to look at specific work. But we actually had a case today where somebody went out there to look at a tree. I did a report. I pulled a report together for some of my staff to take a look at some high important footpath areas that were identified having a number of service requests, and where they were just sections, we were able to pull it all together as a capital programme instead to deliver the whole lot in one go. So yes, we do look at that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? No, I'm happy to move that report. Do I have a seconder? And thank you. Any debate? Okay, all those in favour? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.